My name is Victoria Day, and I'm a third year PhD student in world history at Northeastern. And this is going to be a guide for institutional collaborations with underrepresented community members and partners. So, a lot of this, it brings me back to a quote by James Baldwin of people are trapped in history, and history is trapped in them. This is something that really resonated with me as I thought about community history as something that is trapped in a way. It's very present, it's very valid, but how do we access it in a non-extractive way? And so this has kind of come out of my own experience as an undergraduate, where I've done kind of historical research on African Americans and the women's suffrage movement. In my graduate studies, I'm a research assistant, and so I do a lot of different projects working with communities and trying to assist them with how do we help you archive what you have and we don't take ownership of it. So, what does that relationship look like when we're trying to act not in a condescending way, but as a resource for communities to do the work and to archive? And I also volunteer in a sense and do this kind of thing. So, this guide is really just about proactive considerations that you can take in before, during, and after you engage with communities. And if you want to do this kind of work, these are just a few of my suggestions based off my experience. So take them with a grain of salt. So the first is co-creation and co-curation, which has become a bit of a buzzword in the past couple of years as we move towards helping communities archive, and what does that relationship look like, and how do we balance it a little bit more. And so one way to do that is what I suggest is a co-proposal. How can we include them in the very process and in the beginning? Not that we draft something and we bring it to them, but brainstorming with the community partner from its initial stages of what do they want to see, how do they want it to function, and how can we help you get there? That way, we kind of already set the tone that this is going to be an equal contribution to the final product. And so one way to do that is a co-proposal, and what I call like a back and forth method. You can brainstorm together, you can draft and revise, obviously, in private, and bring that back and forth until it's a final product that each party is happy with. And the community partner has every right to tear it up if they want to and tell you to start over. That's completely fine. But once you come to that final proposal, also recognizing that it doesn't sit on the shelf. It's not something that we should not revisit. It actually can serve kind of as a job review does, something that you revisit every 6 months and say, are we meeting the guidelines that you wanted us to? Are we still on track? If not, how can we fix this relationship to be in a better place than it was? And then the other one is global and national perspectives, which comes from my background in world history, where I'm a bit concerned when we have local projects of them being too isolated to where they're particularly placed at that given time. So I work with the Association of Haitian Women in Boston. And my concern here is this is a very transnational group, although they're based in Boston. They move back and forth. They themselves might be a generation of immigrants. So how do we acknowledge both how they're informing the global and national perspectives, and also how are they informed by it? So one way I saw this playing out was that in the digital collections, we could adjust it to have this thematic organization, which not changing it entirely, but having a separate section that's organized by theme, which would help researchers like myself in world history make those connections. So with terms like Black Atlantic or diaspora, really acknowledging the interconnected nature of our society and making sure that that is present in the digital collections and acknowledged. And then the third part is diverse institutional projects. This comes from, I have worked in a lot of different project groups, and even our junior fellows here, we are all in very different places, but acknowledging where we are at prior to doing the work, where the strengths are, the weaknesses, experience, management, and what needs to be done so that we can be in a position to best help communities and that we can have a more equal relationship. And this is like a chart I came up with based off a few things I was a little bit concerned with. So first is like deliverables. What do you want an undergraduate to produce? An advanced level graduate student? What's the expectation for faculty or staff, community members, even education and experience? So when I was working with undergrads, a big thing was they might have had one course in history, but archiving could be a completely different type of course and training that they might need a 101 course on, versus graduate students, they might have had one or two courses and might say that I just want a refresher on those things before we move forward. So to conclude, this is not a final product. There are a lot of considerations that are not in here, such as like digital metadata, communication strategies. Sorry, my alarm. But it's to say that it's a work in progress and that we learn as we go, as we collaborate and build relationships. So, thank you.